Hello, Alaiula. You want to see what the Osmo Pocket is all about? Some real close-up footage here. These guys are so habituated. It's like awesome to see, but it's also sad to see how habituated they are to humans. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hamakua Marsh here in Kailua. We're back home on Oahu, and I wasn't actually planning on filming a vlog today until the activities of the Alaiula really started to pick up. So we got like a couple of adults and even a couple of juvenile Alaiula. There's some over on the other side. But yeah, I wasn't planning on shooting any vlogs today because you can tell I'm kind of congested. I'm kind of recovering from an illness. You know, came back from the Big Islands, from the volcano and stuff. But yeah, there's like some babies out here. There's like so much activity. They're coming super, super close. So yeah, I really wasn't expecting to film a vlog here today. I just came out here to film some B-roll for my other video. But I heard from a fellow photographer, shout out to Scattered Optics, RJ, for the tips on the fact that we had some little baby Alaiula here at this spot. So yeah, definitely go check out his work. He creates some really nice bird stuff as well as some other nature photography stuff. But yeah, I decided to come out here just to check it out, set up the camera, didn't think too much of it. I spotted a couple earlier on this morning across the river and I'm like, there's no way they're gonna come over. And then just in a matter of like 5-10 minutes, they all started to kind of come across, starting with the adults, and then the juveniles started following as well. So yeah, definitely got some cool footage of them crossing the river and just kind of hanging out. I guess there really isn't the moral of the story. I'm just trying to film something to capture like this incredible experience that I'm having out here in Mother Nature. But I guess if there was a conservation sort of message behind it, is you see how close these guys are getting to me. Like, this is an adult, fully developed Alaiula, not scared of me one bit. And I've been coming to this spot for a while, and these are literally the closest that these guys are getting to me. Like, it's like concerning almost how close and how habituated these guys are. And while it is nice to see how they've kind of adapted to almost living amongst and with humans, it's also kind of sad to see how reliant they've become and dependent they've become on humans as well. I mean, the little baby Alais that are on this side, they headed straight for a beeline to the parking lot in hopes of waiting for whether it's like leftover scraps from the restaurants or whatnot. It's like good and bad, you know. It's like fun for us photographers because we get to experience you know, being so close to the subjects that we want to photograph, but it's also sad as a conservationist to see how like, you know, conditioned they've become to us and how dependent they've become of us. But yeah, it is what it is. There really isn't a whole lot we can do beside educating the public on conservation and, you know, efforts to kind of help out these birds. And it's a little bit late for this particular bird population, but in terms of like any sort of native bird population, or any bird population for that matter, you want to just try to avoid feeding them, because that's what causes them to become, I guess, dependent and reliant on humans as kind of like their main food source. Which in this case, it sucks because these guys are native and endangered, and you know, while yes, we do want to help the population recover, giving them the reliance and giving them the food source is not the right answer. And these guys are 100% conditioned to us feeding them, for sure. You can see as I approach the juveniles, they're a little more skittish. But watch me approach this adult is not gonna really care. Say hi to the vlog, buddy. I don't think you're gonna find any food scraps underneath my tripod though. Yeah, a couple of things I'm noticing from photographing these guys for a little bit. Oh no, the little chick is going across. We had mostly like older juvenile, but then had one small teeny tiny little chick that I was kind of focusing on photographing. And you know what, a couple of things about their behavior that I've noticed is the adults, or I guess the parents in this case, will kind of forage around for like breadcrumbs or food and whatnot, and then they'll bring it over to the chicks, and then they'll feed the chicks the food, because especially the small one, they're not quite, I guess, ready to kind of find their own food, so they kind of rely on the parents, and the parents will bring them the food scraps or whatever. Just from my short time being here, I guess the adults, I've noticed that, you know, they're a lot less timid than usual, and I think it's because we've got the young ones around, so they're coming so close and almost hoping that I'm kind of getting out of their space, you know, kind of shooing me away. Because what they're doing to the bigger ducks, the koloas, are they're kind of walking up to them and just kind of nudging them with their beaks, and the ducks are flying away. So they're being a little bit more territorial than usual, I would say, and that's just because we've got the young ones out, and you know, the young ones are trying to feed, and they're trying to look for food for the young ones too. So a little nugget of behavior change that I've noticed. But yeah, it's still pretty cool to watch them and photograph them. I think I got some incredible stuff this morning. Sorry, I wanted to interrupt here. We're back here on a separate morning at the marsh trying to photograph some birds. But I wanted to take this moment to plug my calendars for the upcoming new year of 2026. Every year, based off of whatever genre of photography I focus on the most, I decided to turn it into a calendar for the next upcoming year. And by far, the biggest genre that we photographed this year was wildlife, and more specifically, native Hawaiian birds. But yeah, we took so much footage of native Hawaiian birds this year that I couldn't combine all of these bird shots into one 12-month calendar. So I had to split them up into two separate calendars. So the first calendar is going to be forest birds of Hawaii, and they're going to feature the Hawaiian honey creepers like the iiwi, apapane, amakihi, those sort of birds, as well as the predator birds and the birds of prey of Hawaii, like the io and the pueo. And then the second calendar is going to feature the water birds of Hawaii, which features birds that we have photographed here many a time, the io, the alai ula, the alai ke'o, as well as like the mano'oku that we will be photographing in the next video, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, not only will the funds from these calendars be able to support my crazy addiction to photography and wildlife photography more specifically, but actually the best part of grabbing one or both of these calendars is that a substantial portion of the profits from these calendars will be used to donate to organizations that are dedicated to protecting these birds for future generations. So if you are interested in pre-ordering one of these calendars, I'll leave the link to my website in the description of this video, where you can pre-order, check it out, see what the tentative photos are going to be, and see if you want to pick one up for yourself. Thank you guys so much for your support, and back to previous Spencer photographing these birds here at the marsh. Yeah, so these marsh birds, the alai ula, have a very interesting backstory in Native Hawaiian culture. There was a time where the people of Hawaii were said that they didn't know how to make fire, or fire was a gift from the gods. And at one point in time, the alai ula were the only creatures to know the secret of how fire was made. So the famous demigod Maui set out one day to learn the secret of fire from the alai ula. But when asked about how to create fire from the alai ula tried to trick Maui and told Maui that you take two, fresh green leaves, you rub them together, and then you'll make fire. But actually that was a trick. Of course, the alai ula did not want to give up the secret of fire, so Maui soon found out that the alai ula had tricked him. He went back to the alai ula, squeezed the alai ula's neck, and until she screamed the secret out, which is to actually rub two sticks together, two dry sticks together, to create that friction to create fire. And that's eventually how humans learned how to create fire in the Native Hawaiian culture. But Maui was so furious with the alai ula that he actually took the forehead of the alai ula and burned it in the fire. And that's why, according to Native Hawaiians, that's why the alai ula, or the Hawaiian moorhen, has that red iconic beak, is because Maui was so angry with the bird that he burnt the fire literally onto the beak of the alai ula. Interesting backstory. It's one of my favorite Native Hawaiian stories on these endangered birds, and it was just interesting because they are very, you can, even when observing them now, you can see how they protect their young and stuff. It's very almost like, it's not loud in your face. It's not like the io, like the stilt. It's more of a kind of a subtle, sneakily sneaking up on you and poking you, that kind of thing. You can definitely still see the deceit in their personalities even to this day, and I just find it very, very interesting just knowing that backstory. But yeah, just a quick one for me today. I don't want to talk too much and kind of aggravate the sore throat, but yeah, just enjoy the footage that we got this morning. It was an incredible experience. Just remember, don't feed the birds when you're out here. Just let them find their own food. You don't have to help them out. Just appreciate their beauty. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this type of content, this travel, vacation, a little bit of photography, education, hit that like button, comment below, subscribe if you aren't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.